Then there are Star-Lord's signature abilities, which can be periodically used by awkwardly pushing in the left analog stick and selecting the move you'd like to perform with the face buttons. These abilities include Fan the Hammer, which lets you rain a torrent of high-speed bullets in a straight line that melt anyone in your path, and my personal favourite, Eye of the Hurricane, which launches you into the air before unleashing a spiral of grenades that have a wide area of effect and deal heavy stagger damage. Further abilities can be unlocked using skill points that you'll earn as you level up. Keeping up? Good, because that's only half of it. While you aren't able to directly control the other members of the team in combat, you do get to command them, which at times turns the battlefield into a real-time tactics arena. This is where the Final Fantasy VII remake of it all comes into play. Holding down the left shoulder button will bring up the option to use the other Guardian's abilities. For example, Groot can be instructed to tie up a targeted enemy in his tendrils, which can then be followed up with an instruction to Gamora to leap in and slice that enemy up for big damage. It's a very fun combat system to play around with, requiring split-second decisions within the chaos. Adding further to this is if you do enough damage consistently, you'll build up the momentum meter, which when full allows you to huddle up. This unique mechanic not only grants you a few moments of respite, but also gives stat buffs to either the full team or just Star-Lord, depending on if you selected the optimal dialogue option. Undoubtedly my favourite part of this though is when the action resumes and a random 80s hit from Star-Lord's playlist soundtracks the fight. And sure, We're Not Gonna Take It by Twisted Sister just makes sense for an occasion like this, but there's something even more contrapuntially delightful about listening to Hot Chocolate's Everyone's a Winner while Rocket fires explosives into a poor soul's face. It's a complex combat system to wrap your head around, but the more time I spent with it, the more comfortable I became and the more fun I had with it. With multiple unlockable abilities for each character, there's a wealth of different combinations to try out and find out what works best for each situation. You'll have to think about that too. It's challenging at times, and these aren't encounters you can simply button bash your way through. When all the systems come together, it can feel a bit like trying to juggle several lit fireworks, which could result in a beautiful, explosive display of firepower, or just as equally blow up in your face if you aren't paying attention. The team throws out witty one-liners during combat, but also has great moments of interaction during cutscenes and exploration. From this small slice, Guardian seems very well written and crucially, funny.
I see you have discovered my criminal record.
Providing further opportunities for good dialogue is the Guardian's ship, the Milano. Here I spent time soaking up my spacious spaceship surroundings and talking to my crewmates. It doesn't feel a galaxy away from strolling around Mass Effect's Normandy in that regard, checking in on my friends between missions and strengthening bonds. In a short amount of time, I managed to squeeze in a heart-to-heart with Rocket about his unpleasant running with Kree scientists, blasted out some Rick Astley from the onboard hit-filled music system, and even met a purple llama with a floppy head of lusciously orange hair. All of this is not a million miles away in tone from the 2 James Gunn MCU movies, and so very much feels part of the Guardians of the Galaxy lineage. Eidos Montreal has, however, made the characters feel distant enough from previous iterations, which has helped it avoid stumbling into the dreaded uncanny valley that Crystal Dynamics Marvel's Avengers occasionally did. Further respect is paid to the relatively short history of these characters by the dozen or so unlockable outfits for each member. I found a couple of these while exploring the dark corners of the Nova Corps base I was visiting, and they can also be rewards for solving puzzles that act as a break from the high-octane action. While not overly complex, these challenges varied from using my ice ammunition to freeze a rotating gear in place, to turning digital connectors Watchdog style to power up a grid. It looks like Guardians will try to switch things up on occasion, and not rely too heavily on its admittedly fun combat. Ultimately, I came away far more excited to play Guardians of the Galaxy than I had been prior to my time with it. There's a surprising amount of depth on offer in both regards to combat and characterization, with plenty of unlockables and player choice available throughout its systems. All of this while also blaring out Take On Me, The Final Countdown or Hanging Tough? Sign me up. For more Guardians of the Galaxy, why not check out the latest trailer? And for everything else, stick with IGN.